Welcome to the Study IQ English podcast community. I'm Joanne, and in today's episode, we're going to explore effective ways to communicate in English while shopping. Whether you're purchasing groceries, clothing, or gifts, mastering the right phrases can significantly enhance your experience, making it more seamless and enjoyable. By the end of our session today, you'll feel more self-assured in using English across various shopping scenarios. So let's begin and refine your listening and speaking abilities through practical, real-life examples. Before we delve in, let me pose a question. Have you ever found yourself in a store, struggling to ask for assistance in English? Perhaps you were searching for a particular item, or needed information about prices, but felt unsure how to articulate your needs. Or maybe you've encountered difficulty understanding the cashier when they provided your total. If any of this resonates with you, rest assured, this episode is designed to help you navigate these situations with greater ease. Let me begin by sharing a personal anecdote. Some months ago, I visited a local market to purchase vegetables for dinner. I was looking for ripe tomatoes and approached a vendor. I inquired, "Excuse me, do you have fresh tomatoes today?" The vendor responded with a smile. "Yes, we do. They're located right over here." Following this, I asked, "What is the price?" He informed me, and I replied, "I'll take a kilo, please." It was a straightforward interaction, yet knowing the appropriate phrases enabled me to obtain what I needed efficiently. Now reflect on a time when you went shopping. How did you seek help or locate the items you required? Did you employ phrases such as "How much is this?" or "Could you assist me, please?" These are indeed valuable phrases to use when shopping in English. Remember, confidence in articulating your needs is paramount. Let's consider another typical shopping scenario. Imagine you're in a clothing store, in search of a new jacket. You spot one you like, but are uncertain about the size. You might ask the salesperson, "Do you have this jacket in a smaller size? Or is this available in a different color?" Posing such questions ensures you obtain the precise item you desire. And don't forget to express gratitude after receiving assistance. Politeness is always appreciated when shopping. On one occasion, I was in a store, looking for a present for my husband. I asked a store employee, "Could you recommend a suitable gift for a husband?" She smiled and presented a few options. "This watch is very popular," she mentioned, "and this wallet is also an excellent choice for gifts." I appreciated her suggestions and ultimately purchased the watch. It was a positive experience, because I knew how to ask for help and utilize the correct phrases. Now I encourage you to consider, if you were in a store searching for a gift for someone, how would you ask for help? Would you inquire, "Could you suggest a gift for my wife?" Or "I'm looking for something special for my husband." These are useful phrases when shopping for gifts. Let's proceed to another common shopping situation. Asking about the price of an item in a store. It's natural to want to know the cost. You can simply ask, "How much is this?" or "What's the price of this?" These are fundamental yet crucial phrases for every shopping trip. Allow me to share another example. Several weeks ago, I was at a bookstore and found a book I wished to buy. I asked the cashier, "How much does this book cost?" The cashier replied, "It's $15. The transaction was quick and simple, and I knew exactly what to do next. Now, let's practice asking about prices. Picture yourself in a store, seeing something you like. How would you inquire about the price? Would you say, "How much is this shirt?" or "Could you tell me the price of this item?" Practice these questions mentally to become comfortable with them. The more you practice, the easier it will be to ask about prices in English. Let's also discuss payment for your selections. After choosing your items, you'll proceed to the checkout counter. You can say, "I'd like to pay for these," or "What is my total?" These are polite and straightforward ways to inform the cashier you're ready to pay. When you're prepared to pay with cash or a credit card, you can also ask, "Can I pay with a credit card?" or "Do you accept cash?" Knowing these phrases will simplify the payment process significantly. For instance, last week at a coffee shop, I wanted to pay with a credit card and asked the barista, "Do you accept credit cards?" She replied, "Yes, we do." I then handed her my card, and the transaction was smooth and quick. Consider this. If you were paying for something, how would you ask if you could use a credit card? Would you say, "Can I use my card to pay?" or "Do you accept cards here?" These are effective ways to inquire about payment options. As you can see, shopping in English doesn't need to be daunting. By learning and practicing these simple phrases, you'll be equipped to handle various shopping situations with confidence. Each time you shop, Try incorporating the phrases we've discussed today. With consistent practice, you'll enhance your English listening and speaking skills while also gaining confidence in real-world scenarios. Alright, let's continue practicing more useful phrases for shopping in English. I want to address a situation many of us encounter: returning or exchanging items in a store. Sometimes we purchase something and later realize it's not quite what we wanted, or perhaps the size is incorrect, necessitating an exchange. When you wish to return or exchange an item, you can begin by saying, "I'd like to return this," or "Could I exchange this item?" If the store has a return policy, they will outline the procedure for you. For example, I once bought a sweater online, and upon arrival, it was too large. I visited the store to exchange it and stated, "I need to exchange this sweater for a smaller size." The salesperson was very helpful and promptly offered me the size I needed. When requesting a return or exchange, be sure to also inquire if the item is eligible. You can ask, "Is this item returnable?" or "What is the time frame for returns?" These are important questions, as many stores have different return policies, and it's wise to be aware of the rules before making a purchase. Now, let's practice this scenario together. Imagine you bought a shirt that doesn't fit. How would you ask to exchange it? Would you say, "Could I return this for a smaller size?" or "I'd like to exchange this for a different size"? Try vocalizing these phrases to become comfortable using them in a real store setting. Another useful phrase when shopping is inquiring about store promotions or discounts. Suppose you're looking for a sale and want to know if anything is currently on offer. You can ask, "Are there any sales today?" or "Do you have any discounts on this item?" These questions are beneficial when you're aiming to save money while shopping. Some months ago, I was shopping for new shoes and asked the store assistant, "Are there any discounts on shoes at the moment?" She informed me of a 20% off sale on all shoes. I was delighted, as I obtained the shoes I wanted at a reduced price. This illustrates why asking about discounts is a smart way to save money. Imagine you're in a store and want to know if an item is on sale. How would you ask? Would you say, "Is this on sale?" or "Are there any discounts available on this?" These are simple yet effective questions to help you find the best deals. Now let's discuss how to ask for the location of items within a store. Sometimes finding what you're looking for can be challenging, and you might need to ask for directions. You can say, "Where can I find the towels?" or "Could you direct me to the shoes?" These phrases will help you obtain the necessary information quickly. For example, last week I was searching for a kitchen appliance in a large store. Unable to find it on my own, I asked a staff member, "Excuse me, could you tell me where the blenders are located?" The staff member smiled and replied, "They're in the home goods section, just past the kitchen utensils." Asking for directions in a store is quite common and an efficient way to locate the items you need. So next time you're shopping, try asking where items are located. You can say, "Where can I find the milk?" or "Do you know the location of the fruits?" These questions are particularly helpful in larger stores. Let's also consider the importance of reviewing your receipt after making a purchase. The cashier will typically hand you a receipt. It's advisable to check it to ensure accuracy. If you notice a discrepancy, you can say, "There seems to be an error on my receipt. Could you please check?" or "I believe I was charged the incorrect price for this item." Once I purchased a jacket, and upon reviewing my receipt, I realized I was charged more than the price indicated on the tag. I politely asked the cashier, "Could you please verify the price again?" and she promptly rectified the mistake. It's crucial to check your receipt and raise any concerns if something appears incorrect. Now consider this. If you spot an error on your receipt, how would you address it? Would you say, "Could you check the price on my receipt?" or "I think there's a mistake with my purchase"? These questions will empower you to handle any issues at the checkout with greater confidence. Thus far, we've covered numerous useful phrases for shopping. Let's review some additional phrases you can employ when you're ready to leave the store. When you finish shopping and are heading towards the exit, you can ask, "Where is the checkout?" or "Where do I pay for these items?" These phrases are helpful when you're prepared to pay and depart. For example, I once asked a store employee, "Where is the checkout?" after completing my shopping, and they directed me to the register. It's a simple question, but essential to know where to go when you're ready to pay. Reflect on a time when you were shopping. How did you inquire about the checkout location? Would you say, "Where do I pay?" or "Could you tell me where the register is?" These are helpful phrases when you're ready to finalize your shopping. Utilizing these phrases while shopping will enhance your comfort and confidence when speaking English in stores. Whether you're inquiring about prices, directions, or making a return, you'll know precisely what to say. Remember, the more you practice these phrases in real-life situations, the easier it will become to understand and respond in English. Continue listening to our episodes, practice with us, and soon you'll be able to shop in English like a pro. Great, let's continue and delve deeper into how you can confidently use English while shopping. I understand it might initially feel a bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to using English in stores, but don't worry. With more practice, it will become easier. Let's begin by discussing a very common situation: asking for help when you can't locate something in the store. We've all experienced this, haven't we? You enter a store looking for a specific item but can't seem to find it, perhaps a particular brand of shampoo or a certain size of shoes. This is when knowing the correct way to ask for assistance becomes crucial. One of the simplest phrases to use is, "Excuse me, could you help me, miss?" Let me share an example from my own experience. Some time ago, I went to a supermarket in search of a specific type of cereal I regularly buy. I couldn't find it on the shelves, so I approached a staff member and asked, "Excuse me, could you show me where the breakfast cereals are?" The employee smiled and pointed me in the right direction. It was quick, easy, and I found exactly what I was looking for. So when you're in a store and can't find what you need, you can ask, "Where can I find the item?" Or, "Could you show me where the item is?" If you're unsure how to say the item's name, simply practice thinking about it and add "where is" or "could you show me where." Reflect on the last time you went to a store and couldn't find something. How did you ask for help? Would you show me where the vegetables are? Or, do you know where the item is? These are straightforward ways to ask, and you can feel confident using them. Next, let's discuss asking for assistance when you're looking for specific sizes or colors. Perhaps you desire a red dress but only see blue ones on display, or maybe you need a larger size of shoes. It's common to ask a store assistant for help in these situations. For example, you might say, "Do you have this dress in red?" Or, "Could I find this in a size 10? These questions are easy to understand and direct. I recall a time when I was shopping for shoes and couldn't find my size. I asked the salesperson, "Do you have these shoes in a larger size?" She checked and quickly brought me a pair in my size. By simply asking for help, I got what I needed without wasting time searching the entire store. Now think about a time when you went shopping and couldn't find the right size or color of an item. How would you ask for help? Would you say, "Do you have this in size medium?" Or, "Could I find this in a different color?" These are excellent ways to ask, and they'll help you find what you need without any hassle. Another important aspect of shopping is knowing how to ask for the price of an item. Sometimes you might see something you like but want to know if it fits your budget. In this case, you can ask, "How much is this?" Or, "What's the price of this?" These are very simple questions that will help you understand the cost before you make your purchase. I once went to a bookstore and found a book I was interested in. Before deciding to buy it, I asked the cashier, "How much does this book cost?" She replied, "It's $12. This way, I knew if it was within my budget before proceeding to pay. Imagine you're in a store and see something you like, but are unsure of the cost. How would you ask? Would you say, "How much is this?" Or, "What's the price of this?" Remember, this is an important question to ask to ensure you're comfortable with the price before buying. Now let's move on to a situation where you need to make a purchase. After finding the items you want, it's time to head to the cashier. You can say, "I'd like to pay for these," or, "Could I pay now?" When you're ready to check out, the cashier will usually ask if you want to pay with cash or card. You can answer by saying, "I'll pay with cash," or, "Could I use my credit card?" Let me share a brief story. Last week, I was at a coffee shop and ordered a coffee to go. When I was ready to pay, I said, "I'll pay with my card, please." The cashier asked for my card, and I quickly paid for my drink. It was a simple exchange, and I got what I wanted without any confusion. If you're ever in a store and unsure how to pay, don't worry. Just ask, "How can I pay?" Or, "Do you accept credit cards?" It's always better to ask than to feel confused when it's time to pay. Once you've made your purchase, don't forget to ask for your receipt. Most stores provide a receipt when you buy something, and it's always a good idea to check it to ensure everything is correct. If you think there's a mistake, you can politely say, "I think there's a mistake on my receipt," or, "Could you check the price again?" I've done this myself when I noticed I was charged the wrong price for an item, and the staff quickly corrected it. For example, last month, I bought a pair of shoes and noticed on the receipt that I was charged for a different style than what I selected. I asked the cashier, "Could you check the price again? I think there's a mistake." She promptly fixed the issue, and I paid the correct amount. If you ever have an issue with your receipt, just remember to ask, "Could you check the price on my receipt?" Or, "There seems to be an error in my total. Could you help me?" These are simple ways to ensure everything is accurate. Another useful phrase when shopping about store policies. Many stores have regulations regarding returns, exchanges, or the duration you can keep an item before returning it. You might want to know the store's policy before making a purchase. In this case, you can ask, "What's the return policy?" Or "How long do I have to return this item?" Some time ago, I bought a jacket and later decided I didn't want it. Before making the purchase, I asked the salesperson, "What's your return policy?" She informed me that I had 30 days to return the jacket for a full refund. This made me feel more confident about buying it, knowing I could return it if I changed my mind. Think about the last time you were in a store. Did you ask about the store's return policy? Would you say, "How long do I have to return this?" or "What is your exchange policy?" These are important questions to ask to ensure you understand the store's rules before making a purchase. Let's also discuss how to ask for a bag when you finish shopping. Sometimes, you'll need a bag to carry your items. You can simply ask, "Could I have a bag please?" or "Could I get a shopping bag?"